Welcome, my constant reader friends. I'm Tad, and this is Tad Reads Books and Stuff. All right, this is going to be a simple video. I didn't finish any books this week. I was going to start Daughter of Darkness by Terry Brooks, but I did start The Witchwood Crown by Tad Williams. My plan was to just read this here and there, nice and easy through the rest of the month while I read these other books. And yeah, I got into it a little bit, and this is all I was reading. I'm 264 pages through it. As you know, I'm a big Tad Williams fan, and this is the continuation. It's the new books, book one of The Last King of Osten-Ard. Of course, this series began years ago with the Dragonbone Chair. And yeah, I started reading it. My goodness, it's years in the future, of course. But we've still got everybody. We've pretty much, we've got Simon and Miriamel, and Bennebeck shows up. We've got Duke Isgrimnor. We've got Lord Eolair. We've got the Scythi and the Norns and giants. And yeah, I'm back home in Osten-Ard and I'm loving it. So this is all I've been reading. Still, it's a big book. No other updates other than that. I am definitely going to get to these other ones, I promise, but didn't this week. Anyways, what are we doing? So I got tagged, and I don't do a lot of tags videos on my channel, but this one I got tagged by The Dot. Yes, the daughter of AJ and Grozz from the GKBC tagged me in this tag. And, well, I call her The Dot, like The Ohio State University. The Dot, the daughter, the preeminent daughter of all YouTube channels. She's got her own YouTube channel called Jack is Bored. I'm going to link that, of course, in the description. So she tagged me to do this, and I'm going to do it for her. It's called Hot or Not, A to Z. Now, I don't know where this tag began, so I'm sorry about that. But basically, it just goes A through Z with different types or styles of books or writing styles and things like that. And you just say if you like it or you don't. It's hot or it's not. So let's get started. A, audiobooks. Yeah, I love audiobooks. I love audiobooks. I didn't. For years and years, I wanted to avoid anything like that. Audiobooks, ebooks, anything like that. I just had to hold the book in my hands. But with my job, I do travel a lot. I drive a lot. And I said, hey, let's try these audiobooks. Now, some of them aren't that good, but a lot are really good. Some of the readers are excellent. Sometimes they put on a full cast production, sound effects and everything. Sometimes not. But there are some pretty weak ones too. I'm not going to lie. Some are just basically somebody reading. I like when it's one person and they're changing their voices to fit different characters. It helps you maybe visualize those characters a little bit. I like them. I love it. So I said hot. B, buildings. Buildings Roman. It's kind of like the coming of age type stories. And I'm going to say hot. I love a good coming of age story. My all-time favorite, It, follows these kids from when they're young, and then, things that happen to them in their lives that affect them. They become adults, and then, I love a good coming of age story. Yeah, can they be done poorly? Sure. But I'm going to say hot. C, Children's books. No, I don't like children's books. YA, a little bit different. Children's books. I never read children's books even when I was a child. I didn't read children's books. I don't know. We weren't allowed to read comic books when I was a kid, when I was young, living at home. My parents were like, if you're going to read something at least real, I guess. But yeah, so even when I was young, I remember when I was a kid and I was reading Sherlock Holmes, you know. I never read children's books, and so I'm going to have to say not. D, digital. No, I think I showed you, I have a Kindle. I've even got an iPad. I've got a Kindle Fire. I've got an iPad. I have maybe hundreds of books on my Kindle and iPad, and I've read one book. Like I said, I think I read Hunger Games on a Kindle, and I don't like it at all. So if you hear dog barking in the background, I held off filming this video because my next door neighbor's dogs were going crazy. I finally began this video, and here they're back barking again. Awesome. All right, next. Yeah, I just don't like digital. E, experimental. Yeah, I like experimental type books. Fiction, experimental fiction, experimental. I don't know. I don't mind it. I don't mind if all of a sudden you pick up a book and it's not even in the order that it's supposed to be in, or you have to read it upside down or backwards, or it's got pictures, and I don't know. I don't mind it. Kind of, you know, as long, again, and all of these, as long as they're good. Good is good. That's what I always say. So yeah, I kind of like experimental. F, fantasy. Yes, hot. Fantasy is probably my #1 genre that I read, and I have read my whole life. From way back with The Hobbit, Terry Brooks, of course. You know, I love Terry Brooks and Shannara. I love the long series, you know, multiple books. Tad Williams, you know, of course. Terry Brooks, they're right there. Yeah, I love fantasy. I love escaping and going somewhere different, meeting strange new worlds and new people. G, graphic novels. Yeah, I love graphic novels now. I was late to the scene. I remember I was in the military, and some of the guys, you know, living in the dorm were, you know, had comic books all around, and I just had never read them, and I started reading them. I am a DC fan overall, but if it's good, again, it's good. Now I love reading graphic novels, and you can check out Tad and Grozz from the GKBC, because we have a bi-weekly series that we do where we read graphic novels called The Marvelous Team Up. So check that out. H, horror. Yes, I'm going to say hot. I love a good horror novel. There's not a lot of them. I see there's tons of you booktubers out there that have channels dedicated to horror, and maybe I should try to read more. I just don't read a lot of it. Yeah, you're going to say Stephen King's your favorite author. You read tons of horror. I don't consider Stephen King necessarily a horror novelist. Yeah, he writes all kinds of stuff, really. It's all fantastical. It's more fantasy, I think, than anything else. But I love it when I get a good horror book, you know. Rosemary's Baby I read, you know, a little while ago. You know, I love Clive Barker. I love Thomas Tryon. I love Stephen King. But I just don't read a lot of it. Because sometimes it's horrible. Sometimes there's some pretty weak horror out there. I think you have to be really talented to write horror. Comedy and horror, I think you know, to really get that visceral feeling while you're reading some words on a page, you know, it is really good if you can do that. Inspirational. No, pass. No, I do not read inspirational. No. I'm kind of a realist. You know, my favorite saying is do what you got to do. If you got to work 3 jobs, work 3 jobs. You know, if you got to stay up all night, you stay up all night. If you got to, you know, drop what you're doing and go help someone, you do it. I don't need somebody cheering me, giving me inspiration. No, don't. Sorry. J, journalism. Yeah, I love journalism, especially books, you know, about journalism. I love those. You know, All the President's Men, you know, things, even just real journalism. The issue that I have is now everybody reads journalism online on these sites that are all phony or fake or pushing an agenda that is sometimes false or unrealistic, or that drives me crazy. But good journalism, you know, good war correspondence back from in the day and things of that nature. Yeah, I love it. Kish. What is kitsch? Art that is perceived as naive, imitation, overly eccentric, gratuitous, or banal in taste. Yeah, I don't like kitsch. I have things like you see sticking around. You might say that's kishy. It's just things that are, you know, people have given me or that, you know, are important to me, remind me of things or something. But I don't have little knickknacks all over my house. I don't like that, and I don't like that type of writing either. Yeah. Nope, not. L, library. Oh, this one's tough for me. So, library. Yes, I love libraries. I love them so much. I used to be on the board of directors for a library for several years. I volunteer at libraries. I love to go to library sales and buy books from libraries. However, I have never in my life had a library card. I have never in my life taken a book out from a library. Not even when I was in school, when I was in high school. In my house, we had tons of books. We had reference books, you know, the old world books, encyclopedias, things like that. I'd like to go, if I want to study a subject, I go find the books in thrift stores, used bookstores, things like that. I have tons of used books. I buy books. I don't like the pressure of, you know, getting a book and, oh, you've got to turn it back in 2 weeks or something like that. I've never utilized a library in that manner, but I love them. I love when they have community events and things like that. And so yeah, I think every community should have a library. I just have never used them. But yeah, hot, of course. Mysteries, yeah, same as most of my answers. There are some pretty crappy mystery writers out there. I'm sorry. I'm not going to name any. You know who you are. You should. You probably don't. But a good mystery, oh yeah, I love it. Yeah. If it gets me going. My issue is sometimes figuring out things too quickly. Figuring out the mystery. But yeah, I love mysteries. N, nonfiction. Yes, hot. I love nonfiction. I've done some videos on the nonfiction I read. I've got a whole bookshelf of nonfiction over there that, and over here that I haven't been able to get to. I don't think a lot of people really like videos on nonfiction, you know, but I love it. I love reading history. I majored in history in college. Yeah, I love it. Oh, omnibus. Yeah, I love omnibus. I started this channel with these over here, these compilation omnibus type books, and I rolled the dice and picked which one I was going to read, but then I quickly got off that. They're still sitting over there. I still got tons of them. I do read them from time to time. Yeah, I love them. It's a good way, especially if you don't have a lot of money. Buy an omnibus, you know. Buy an omnibus of the first 3 Dragon Riders of Pern, you know, or something like that, or Dickens, or the Oz books, you know, things like that. Absolutely love omnibus. Poetry. Hot. I love poetry. Even when I was in high school, I used to read a lot of poetry. I don't read as much anymore. I'm glad that there are a lot of booktubers out there, or YouTubers that present their poetry. I love that. I've got some friends that write poetry and have published. I use poetry when you know, I write songs. I love lyrics and the spoken word. Poetry jams are awesome to go watch. I would never have the confidence to do that, although I can stand on stage and sing a song. I don't know if I can stand up and recite poetry. I don't know, it'd be tough for me. Love them. Quest. Yeah, of course. The Quest is one of the oldest forms of writing, right? The Odyssey, the Iliad, the Odyssey, you know, just the Hobbit. Quest books, yes, absolutely. Love Quest books. Romance. Nope. No, I don't read, no. And I don't mind if a story ends up being like a love story. That's fine. But these romance novels, is that what you're saying? Romance novels? No, I don't dig them. Yeah, no. Sci-fi. Sci-fi. Yes, hot. I love sci-fi. Good sci-fi. Again, there is some crap up there. I read a book once. Geez, it's called Rama or something. I can't remember what it was. Who wrote it? God, it was awful. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and I get mad at science fiction sometimes more than I get mad at other books that I'm reading. But yeah, I love a good science fiction. Absolutely. Dune is my second favorite book of all time. And of course. Translations. Yeah, I'm gonna say hot. I like good translation. I mean, a lot of my history books are, of course, ancient history translated from French and things like that. I like a good Let the Right One In, you know, is translated. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, you know, books like that. Absolutely, there's some great ones out there, especially a lot of Japanese horror and things like that. Absolutely, I love good translation. Ubermensch. Oh, this is a touchy one. Ubermensch. So Ubermensch is kind of, you know, it's like the Superman complex thing, is how usually people describe it. But it was a word that Friedrich Nietzsche used a lot in his subject matter to describe different things. And I love the exploration of that in a novel. I don't like people like that. I don't like it in real life. I know that a lot of people are going to say Ubermensch is Nazism. So Friedrich Nietzsche was not a Nazi. His daughter was. His daughter was married to a high-ranking SS man. They were very friendly with Hitler, and she presented this subject to Hitler, and he kind of co-opted the Ubermensch mentality, word, sense. And so a lot of people say that it's a Nietzsche thing. It's not. It was his daughter. Just to clear that up. Again, I hate in real life the people that, you know, emulate that kind of sensibility, but reading about it, I do. I kind of have that. I enjoy reading about it, so I'm gonna say hot. Victorian, hot. Yeah, I'm big into steampunk and things like that. Anything Victorian, Edwardian, I love it. Yeah, I love it. All the old writers, of course, from the Victorian age, I love. Westerns. Oh, Westerns. All right, so yeah, I've said this. I used to read Westerns when I was younger, and I loved them. You know, when I was in high school, just come home, lay in bed, you know, do some homework, and then, you know, read a little pocketbook. I've got some behind me. boy, I read Lonesome Dove and just didn't dig it. And again, if a Western novel is just pure fun, that's fine. But when it tries to be more than that, I know Grozz is going to feel this way. I would say that even, you know, type kind of like Gone with the Wind, you know, that kind of, is Gone with the Wind really Western? No, I mean, it's a Civil War novel, really, and a love. But anyways, you know what I mean. I don't like when it tries to be more than what it is. It's just something fun. As long as it's fun, I love it. But I don't read it hardly anymore because it's, I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, let's get off Westerns. Yeah, so I don't even really know how to answer that one. Hot or not. Yeah. X-rated? Yes. 2 thumbs up. More thumbs up. Of course. I mean, X-rated? Sex? Doesn't everybody like sex? You're going to ban me or something, but yeah, I mean, geez. Since I was 12 years old, I've wanted sex. I don't know. Yeah, it's fun to read. Of course. Hot. Why? Young adult. I'm gonna have to say not. Overall, I really don't like a lot of it, but there is some good, really good young adult novels out there, and I've given 5 stars to a couple of them. But I'm not really into, like, you know, that the romance. I'm not into the love triangles that you find in all these young adult books with the young girls and the young boys, and that doesn't interest me at all. But if there's something else going on and it's like the coming of age story or something, young adult, yes, I do. So, but overall, I'm gonna have to say not. And last but not least is Z, Zeitgeist. Yeah, a guilty pleasure. I watch videos, Zeitgeist videos. I read Zeitgeist articles and journalism and you know, things like that, stories. I know it's all ridiculous, usually crazy conspiracy theory things and things like that. But it's a guilty pleasure. It's like watching, you know, videos of girls putting on makeup and talking about murder or serial killers. Yeah, I'm talking about Bailey Sarian, one of my all-time favorite YouTube channels. I love Bailey. But anyways, yeah, Zeitgeist. Yeah, I gotta be honest. Yeah, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. So, hot. That's it. A through Z, hot or not, tagged by the Dot, the illustrious daughter of AJ and Grozz from the GKBC. I'm going to link her channel down below. Please check it out. And as always, if you find any entertaining value in my videos, please like, subscribe, leave me comments, and until next time, peace out.